What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Hurry Up Tomorrow, the 2025 psychological thriller starring Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Keoghan. This movie is a wild ride. Part music video, part existential crisis, and a whole lot of weird. If you're a fan of The Weeknd's music or just love trippy films, stick around because we're breaking it all down. The plot, the vibes, the hidden meanings, and why this movie's got everyone talking. No spoilers yet, but trust me, it's a lot. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, before we jump into the recap, let's set the stage. Hurry Up Tomorrow is directed by Trey Edward Schultz. The guy behind It Comes at Night and Waves. It's a companion piece to The Weeknd's 6th studio album of the same name, which dropped in January 2025. The film is inspired by a real-life incident in 2022 when Abel lost his voice mid-concert in LA due to psychological stress. That moment shapes the movie's core. A fictionalized Abel grappling with fame, heartbreak, and his own demons. The vibe? Think a 24 meets David Lynch with a dash of Stephen King's Misery. It's artsy, it's intense, and it's not for everyone. Critics called it everything from unbearably pretentious to a daring fever dream. Let's see what's up.
Everything remains exactly how it was.
Stop self-doubt, you're fucking invincible.
The movie kicks off with a gut punch. We hear a voicemail from Abel's ex-girlfriend, voiced by Riley Keough, tearing into him. She calls him cruel, manipulative, and says she's done. Ouch. Cut to Abel, played by The Weeknd himself, in his dressing room, staring at his reflection, blowing raspberries like he's trying to shake off the pain. It's a weirdly human moment, but it sets the tone. This guy's unraveling. He's a global superstar, mid-tour, but he's a mess. Insomnia, vocal issues, and a heart that's just been stomped on. Meanwhile, we get these jarring cuts to a young woman named Anima, played by Jenna Ortega. She's pouring gasoline in a house. Turns out it's Abel's childhood home, and sets it ablaze before peeling out in a beat-up Jeep. She's crying, dodging calls from her mom, and heading to Abel's concert. The cinematography here is nuts, spinning 360-degree shots, grainy 35mm film, and close-ups so tight you can count Abel's sweat beads. It's chaotic, like his headspace. At the concert, Abel's performing Wake Me Up, a banger from the album. But his voice cracks. He freezes, bolts off stage, and the crowd's left hanging. This is the movie's inciting incident, mirroring that 2022 real-life moment. Abel's spiraling, and Lee's freaking out because, tour money. Backstage, Abel bumps into Anima, who's snuck in. She's intense, quoting his lyrics back to him, saying she gets him. Abel, desperate for a distraction, invites her to hang out. Big mistake? Maybe. So, Abel and Anima hit the town, wandering LA in a haze of neon lights and late-night vibes. It's not romantic, more like two lost souls vibing. They talk about loneliness, fame, and how Abel's music saved Anima from dark times. There's a spark, but it's uneasy. Abel's still texting his ex, and Anima's got this wild energy, like she's one step from snapping. They end up at a fancy hotel and things get intimate. The movie's coy about it, but it's implied they hook up. The score by Daniel Lopatin and The Weeknd is haunting, all synths and distorted beats, amplifying the tension. The next morning, Abel's cold. He brushes Anima off, telling her to leave. She begs to stay, saying she knows him better than anyone. Abel snaps, yelling, "Just shut up!" And it's brutal. Anima's face changes. Jenna Ortega's acting here is chilling. She grabs a champagne bottle and wham, knocks Abel out cold. When he wakes up, he's tied to the bed, and Anima's pacing, ranting about his music, his pain, and how he's betrayed her by being a jerk. This is where the Misery vibes kick in. She's not just a fan, she's unhinged, claiming she's his Anima, the Jungian feminine side of his psyche, here to force him to confront his sins. The movie slows down, diving into Abel's head. We get trippy flashbacks, his childhood, his rise to fame, moments with his ex. Anima plays him snippets of his own songs like Hurry Up Tomorrow, where he confesses guilt and begs for redemption. She's like, "You wrote this, but you're not living it." It's a therapy session from hell, and Abel's forced to face his narcissism, his cruelty, and how he's hurt people, especially women. Alright, no major spoilers, but let's talk about the final act. Things get weird. The hotel room becomes this surreal purgatory with spinning cameras and dreamlike visuals straight out of David Lynch's playbook. Anima's pushing Abel to breaking point, and he's crying, screaming, maybe even repenting. There's violence, blood, chaos, and a twist that flips the dynamic. Is Anima real? A hallucination? A symbol of Abel's guilt? The movie doesn't spoon-feed answers, which is both cool and frustrating. The climax ties back to the album's themes of rebirth. Abel's gotta die, metaphorically or otherwise, to move forward. The ending's ambiguous, but it's emotional, with a killer needle drop from the album that'll hit hard if you're a Weeknd fan. We're left wondering if Abel's found peace or just traded one cage for another. The final shot? Stunning, haunting, and divisive as hell. So, what's Hurry Up Tomorrow really about? Fame's a big one. The movie lays bare the toll of being a superstar. Abel's isolated, paranoid, and trapped by his own myth. Anima's obsession mirrors toxic fandom, where fans project their lives onto artists. The Jungian stuff, Anima as Abel's unconscious, is heavy-handed but kinda cool if you're into psychology. It's also about redemption. Abel's songs, especially Hurry Up Tomorrow, scream regret, and the movie asks if he can change or if he's doomed to repeat his mistakes. The style's divisive. Schultz's direction is bold. Those spinning shots, the aspect ratio shifts, the concert scenes, but it can feel like a music video stretched to 105 minutes. Tesfaye's acting? Better than The Idol, but he's outshined by Ortega and Kyogen. Jenna's unhinged energy steals the show, and Barry's slimy charm is perfect. Fans on X are split. Some call it a cinematic masterpiece, others a self-indulgent mess. Check out at Cortex Videos for a deep dive on the ending. It's wild. Hurry Up Tomorrow isn't perfect. It's too long, too artsy for some, and the plot's thin. But if you love the Weeknd psychological thrillers or just weird movies, it's worth a watch. It's personal for Abel. Maybe his goodbye to the Weeknd persona. What did you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did you love it, hate it, or just get confused? Smash that like button, subscribe for more recaps, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next one. Maybe we'll tackle the album next. Peace out, and keep watching movies.